Welcome back everyone for a mind-blowing Cobra Kai Season 3 watch party! So way back in late March of 2020, I had just crossed 3,000 subscribers and put out a tweet thanking everyone, and then something happened that had never happened before. I got a retweet from Hayden Schlossberg, and in it he said, "Gotta give props to WatchParty in his Cobra Kai analysis." But that wasn't all. He went on. Although he's a little harsh on Sam, she's just a teen trying to get through high school. I was amused that he offered a little counter commentary on Sam. At that point, I had made 28 videos on Cobra Kai, only 3 of which addressed Samantha, and those were already 4 to 5 months old. But despite it being only a small part of what I made, it's clear those videos struck a nerve, even with Hayden. That's why he brought it up. Now, totally confident in my analytical abilities and also my predictions, I was sure Season 3 would take her character in a different direction. I made this reply. "Thanks, Hayden. I'll do a video on Sam's positive traits, she does have them, sometime after Season 3. Can't wait for what's to come." Well, there it was.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
Here's the problem. The main thrust of Sam's main Season 3 story, namely the anxiety and panic attacks, may be interesting or relatable, but it's not inherently good or bad. I promised Hayden some positive traits, and having panic attacks and learning to overcome them is admirable, but not positive. It's like if someone said, "Oh, I was so sick, I had the worst case of mono, I was in bed for a week," and then you said, "That story is direct proof that you are a good person." Wait, what? I've gotten many messages and comments that Sam improved a lot in Season 3. There's broadly 2 types of people with that view. The first are the people who can relate to having panic attacks and anxiety, or even PTSD, or other similar personal problems. Obviously, then it would come off as a positive trait. If Sam goes through what you go through, and you identify with her and identify with her struggle, then she must be a good person. That's human nature. The second and likely larger group is the guys who have a powerful emotional connection for an attractive girl suffering from a personal problem. This is a savior or white knight complex many guys feel. This has gotten a bad reputation recently, but it's mostly just a natural reaction. It flows from the damsel in distress motif. A guy would naturally think someone has to save her, but there is no one to save her. Thus, that instinct gets transferred to the pretty damsel directly, and he is massively rooting for her. You go, girl. When you see guys spurging out on me in the comments section, this is likely what's going on. Now, I promised Hayden a positive trait, and that isn't it. Can't a bad person have anxiety and panic attacks? Criminals often have anxiety because they don't know if they're gonna get caught. They can have panic attacks. And Kreese has the most PTSD in the show, so simply having or even coping with PTSD isn't an inherently positive trait. So what am I gonna do? I made a promise to Hayden and I want to keep it. So as I was looking through Season 3, I realized Sam does an amazing thing for our society, and, as is often the case, she is oblivious to what she's doing. Sam completely destroys the primary principles and issues of feminism, like totally blown away. Okay, maybe that's exaggerating it a little bit, but she does demonstrate the flaw with the whole movement. Let's take a look. So the first scene in question is here. Everyone is staring at her, whispering, gossiping, ooh. It makes sense, she was tramping around with that other girl's boyfriend. But then she takes off and that brings us here. Okay, first off, at my high school, she would be suspended again? Ditching school like that is kind of a big deal, though I guess maybe Daniel called and made up some story. Anyway, she talks to her father and he tries to relate to her in that he got into a lot of fights too. And that's when she replies with her most adored praised line of Season 3.
It's different when you're a girl. I mean, even if you win, you're not cool or tough. I think you're crazy.
So that was it, and the reaction of girls everywhere has been, thank God, I'm so glad that double standard was addressed. Now I do want to step in and defend the average student at West Valley High. Sam complains people say she's crazy, but imagine you're an ordinary student here in the hall before school. You watch this girl meander around slowly, then she starts panting and grips the railing like she's pulling Excalibur from the stone. She jumps and runs off. Then the next day she's back and she just holds up her arm in front of nothing. That's random, kinda weird. Now you raise your right hand if you're just sitting here and you think that looks a little crazy. Come on, be honest. Put your right hand up, and for those of you who think Watch Party is wrong about this and wrong about everything with Sam, raise your left hand. So right hand up if Sam legit looks crazy, left hand up if you think Watch Party is wrong. Now imagine someone's in the room watching you with your hand in the air while watching a YouTube video. See, you look crazy too, and so does she, but that's not the real point here. Let's jump to here. A sheepish Sam comes to visit Miguel. After assuring him he's strong enough to recover, she brings attention to her scars. When Miguel says he's sorry for what Tori did to her, she replies,
You didn't do anything. She's the one who decided to go crazy.
Well, that's an unexpected point of view. Let's hear it again.
You didn't do anything. She's the one who decided to go crazy.
Talk about an evolution of her views. She went from,
It's different when you're a girl. I mean, even if you win, you're not cool or tough. I think you're crazy.
all the way to,
You didn't do anything. She's the one who decided to go crazy.
well, look at that. Sam will cry for sympathy about unfair double standards that girls who get into fights are crazy, but then throws all that out the window just to call the other girl from her fight crazy. Consistency is not her thing. Now, I suppose it's a fair question. Is she really destroying feminism here? Or is it just another example of Sam's self-centered me-first attitude she's had throughout the series? That's a tough one. It would make sense that she would borrow feminism's double standard for girls talking point here only because it was convenient at the time. Then, when it was convenient to ignore all that, she did so and happily called Tori crazy. Unfair double standards be damned. So double standards are a common part of her character. You remember how she is fine with fighting if it's for her, but she has no tolerance for fighting if it isn't what she wants? So thank goodness for Samantha LaRusso. In this context, she has shown us that feminist grievances, no matter how noble sounding, ultimately lead to hypocrisy. Or ironically, double standards about double standards. Yes, I hear you. Right now, a bunch of you are shouting at the screen, "This is different, Tori really is crazy." Not everyone, but a lot of you were shouting that. Let me try and get a count how many. Raise your hand if you thought, but Tori really is crazy. Hands up and I'll count. Okay, now a bunch of you have your hand in the air again like a crazy person. That's twice, jeez! Ah yes, Tori does seem crazy, doesn't she? I called her psycho several times. This is why no one will ever think of herself as a hypocrite, because she can always rationalize the difference away. Whether or not someone is crazy is just perspective, a point of view, a matter of opinion. The problem is confirmation bias. Sam had a feminist view that girls in a fight are treated differently. Then she was in a fight and some people thought she was crazy. It confirmed the view she already had. Confirmation bias. But how does confirmation bias affect her view of reality? Let's imagine West Valley High has 1,000 students. It's probably more, but this is just hypothetical. Out of 1,000 students, maybe 800 thought the whole fight was ridiculous and everyone involved was stupid. With so many people involved, it's easy for most people just to have some default negative view of everyone. That partially explains why everyone got suspended. This is certainly how I would have thought back when I was in high school. Then let's say about 100 students think Sam was the victim. These people didn't know Tori. They only knew that some girl was coming after Samantha LaRusso, so they felt bad for Sam. Finally, maybe 100 students think Sam is crazy. Girls getting into a fight over a boy. Crazy. Acting all weird at school. Yeah, she's crazy. But can you imagine a situation where a student would think she's crazy and she doesn't attribute it to an unfair double standard? You can't. Not truthfully. And what about the students who don't think she's crazy or anything at all? Does she consider that evidence against the double standard? No, she doesn't even think about that. In her already made up mind, all the people who think she's crazy only do so because of a double standard for girls. So a confirmation bias filter can literally alter reality as you experience it. The flaw of feminism, as revealed by Sam, is it creates a situation where no matter what happens, it confirms what you already believe. A self-confirming belief system. So you see why it's ridiculous for Sam to assert that anyone saying she's crazy is unfair, only to turn around and do it herself.
She's the one who decided to go crazy.
Tori has her own experience.
You think I'm crazy?
Oh, I didn't say that.
No, that's okay. Everyone does.
While her words imply many people think that, Her tone indicates she does not agree. She thinks she's normal and everyone else is an asshole. Generally, you never think you are the crazy one. It's always someone else who is crazy. That's pretty universal for everyone. But Tori never claimed an unfair double standard against girls. Sam did. There's another issue with this scene that really doesn't have to do with the double standards or feminism, but does tie in. In episode 1, Sam was very self-conscious about her scars. She covered them up. She didn't want people to see. Then, at the end of the first episode, she decided she wasn't going to live in fear of what other people think. She took off her jacket and held her arm up like a crazy person. Okay, but the point is, she embraced the self-empowered, not worrying what people will say or think attitude. For the rest of the season, maybe she'll wear short sleeves, maybe she'll wear long sleeves. It doesn't matter because it's her choice. The fact that it is her choice is the problem here. You remember Sam just didn't pop into the hospital. She planned this trip. She even searched for and picked out that octopus card. It was effort. Except that means she picked out that shirt and knew full well her scars were showing. That's not normally a bad thing. She can't hide them forever. The problem is this isn't a normal situation. This is unique. She's coming to visit the boy who got kicked over the railing, almost died, 2 weeks in a coma, and now may be paralyzed for life. So choosing to wear that shirt kind of feels like she's deliberately putting herself in competition with Miguel's injuries. It worked too. After telling him she thinks he can recover, Miguel notices something on her arm. Instead of maybe changing the subject, she pretends to cover it in a let's talk about me now moment. If she really didn't want Miguel to notice, instead of putting her hand up like that, she would have worn a different shirt. Now, a lot of people watch this channel, and I have to address what some of you are saying.
It's stupid to think Sam deliberately wore a short-sleeved shirt so Miguel would see her scars and get attention on herself. Just because a girl is carefully planning to visit a boy she likes in the hospital doesn't mean she will consider what she's wearing, how she looks in it, and what may or may not be showing.
I feel sorry for you people. Imagine thinking a girl doesn't consider what's showing when she picks her outfit. You remember the last time these two were together was here. A lot had happened since. This was a moment for her. She wanted Miguel to see her scars. It brings her attention and sympathy and lets her get in a dig on Tori.
She's the one who decided to go crazy.
There's no time for unfair double standards when you want to put down Tori. So did Sam really destroy feminism and the argued double standards girls endure? You remember that to a random student, Sam was acting a little crazy. In fact, earlier in the video, you had your arm up like a crazy lunatic. Or maybe it's not about that, but a character issue. This is open for debate, but it comes down to two different interpretations. Sam invoking feminist complaints of double standards on girls and then discarding those same issues to have her own double standards invalidates the feminist ideology. The belief creates a confirmation bias trap. Any student saying Sam was crazy confirmed her preconceived bias that as a girl people would think of her differently. Since the bias eliminates any perspective from the other person, she said the same opinion about Tori, completely unaware. Her opinion of Tori is no different than other people's opinion of her. Opinion and counter-opinion all have equal weight. Or the alternative. Sam is not a spokesperson of feminism nor a representative of the movement in any way. Her only concern is her own self-interest. She complains about double standards for girls only to bring more attention and sympathy for herself. This indicates she doesn't fully grasp what she's saying. It is wrong to dismiss feminism because of the actions of a single self-centered, hypocritical teenage girl trying to get through high school. So it's one or the other. Personally, I do think it's the first one. Cobra Kai has always had a pro-masculine slant, and it makes sense they would use one of the main female characters to discredit and dismantle feminism and its nagging about double standards. That said, if you are inclined to believe the second interpretation, I respect that too. These are always open to interpretation, and you can't expect everyone to reach the same conclusion. So I think I fulfilled my pledge to Hayden and demonstrated a great aspect about Sam in Season 3. Destroying feminism is a beautiful thing. Hayden is on Twitter at MC Schlossberg, and I suggest you also tweet him your thanks for using Samantha LaRusso in such an important way as well. He loves hearing from fans, and you can be sure he'll love your appreciation on how they cleverly use Sam to destroy feminism. It's the little things and the big things. One last point before this is done. As a rule, I don't normally try to rewrite what's already been put on the screen, but I do think the show could have made these points more clearly with just a little more thought. The problem is the writers like Sam so much and were so excited about some yay go girl moment, they gave it to Sam without thinking it through. The better character for all this is Tori. These plot and story elements could have been expanded into a better character moment and theme through the season had they been shifted from Sam to Tori. For example, Tori being mocked about starting the fight and why could have been another reason she didn't want to go back to the dojo. They've been messaging her and talking about her online, that sort of stuff. She was anxious about going back and facing the other students. Kreese, who doesn't have social media, was completely unaware. Take the mocking a step further. Here, when she's fighting the other girl, doesn't it seem very much like Cobra Kai that the students would taunt Tori during the fight? Can you imagine the students yelling, "Don't let her get away, Tori, she was kissing Miguel," or even taking it a step further and yelling, "Yesterday she gave Miguel a huge blowjob, got his feet working again. Don't let her do that, aim for the knees." It's the sort of taunting you imagine Cobras would do, even the sexual taunting. The sort of thing you would think crosses a line but is fair game at the Cobra Kai dojo. If complained to, Kreese would just ask, "I'm sorry, did they hurt your feelings?" A Cobra isn't allowed to show hurt feelings. Now imagine all that leading up to this moment.
You think I'm crazy?
I believe the secret to writing is to show, not tell. This may have conveyed the message better, but in the end, the writers desperately wanted to give it all to Sam. That's the show we got, and in the end, it's for the better because it proved feminist complaints about double standards are ridiculous. Ha! Up next, I want to talk about the sad tragedy revealed in Mr. Miyagi's letters. Be sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss anything. Have a great day. I'll see you at the next watch party.
She's the one who decided to go crazy.
You think I'm crazy?
Everybody's got a sob story. Doesn't give you a right to be a bully.
No, that's okay. Everyone does. I don't give a shit. Because all that matters is who wins in the end.